Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. And yes, of course, continuing on, reviewing Halloweenish films on the weekdays. The next Halloweenish film that I'm going to be reviewing, this too is celebrating its anniversary. And, yeah, I gotta say, it's probably well known for its controversial ending. But of course, I'm not going to get to that until I get to that. That's right, you read the title of which Halloweenish film I'm reviewing next. And again, for it celebrating its anniversary, and of course, it's fitting enough to finally review this. Yes, I'm reviewing Sleepaway Camp. Yes, Sleepaway Camp. Well, I don't know where to begin with this because, oh my gosh, like, for one thing, there's so much going on in this film. For sure, yeah. Alright, but I'll go ahead and read the description / the story. Angela Baker, a shy, dramatized young girl, is sent to summer camp with her cousin shortly after her arrival. Anyone with sinister or less than honorable intentions toward her gets their compunants. I'm not sure if I'm saying that word right, but anyways. Yeah, so, you know, I had been familiar with this film before, and I knew about its controversial ending. Like, the ending to it, oh my gosh, is just shocking. I mean, the first time anybody would watch it, for sure. Yeah, so with the story itself, because, yeah, Angela, played by Felissa Rose, which, by the way, because, yeah, Felissa Rose, because she's such a nice person, and the fact that this was one of her first movies that she did, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And, you know, she got into the, you know, after doing this, you know, she got into the horror and stuff like that, and, you know, from there on, she was doing a bunch of other horror stuff, not to mention, there have been other movies that are, you know, connected to Sleepaway Camp, like, you know, sequels, etc., and I think we all know that, of course, none of them are that good, but I don't know, maybe they could still be fun to watch, and hey, anything with Felissa Rose, and with her reprising her role as Angela, come on, you know. So yeah, the opening to the movie, because, yeah, I actually recently did, okay, here's the thing. I recently watched it for the first time, fully, I did. And I did not know about the opening to this, because because we see, like, two kids and, like, their dad, they're on, like, a boat, and, like, they're at some camp, and, basically at one point, like, these two teenagers, like, they're driving a boat, and, you know, one other teenager, like, you know, a kid, I guess, you know, skiing. Yeah, skiing. And, of course, there's a moment where, like, the kids, like, they accidentally, and I think the dad, too, they tip over the boat, and, yeah. And the one teenager, like, you know, skiing, you know, shouting at the two other teens that are driving the boat to watch out where they're going, but of course, sure enough, like, the boat, like, hits, like, in the dad's face, and, yeah, one of the kids, gets killed, and, you know, the kid's life jacket, like, floats up in the water, and we see, because, yeah, that one kid didn't make it, but the other one did, and obviously that being Angela, and Angela just, again, being shy and dramatized, and, you know, for a little while she doesn't talk, especially when she and her cousin Ricky, played by Jonathan Tiersten, I hope I'm saying the last name right, again, you know me, just, yeah. So, yeah, Ricky is Angela's, they're cousins, and, you know, they're both going to camp, and, Ricky's mother, and also Angela's Aunt Martha, being played by Desiree Gould, I think I'm saying her full name right. Just the way, her attitude and the way she acts is like, you know, oh yes, you know, that kind of stuff. So they're sent to the campsite, and We get a bunch of other characters. I tell you, the characters in the Sleepaway Camp were some very interesting group of characters. Like, we have, like, those who are, like, in charge of the campsite, like, you know, like, an older gentleman by the name of, I think, yeah, Mel, played by Mike Keelan. There's also, two young people that are, you know, like, in charge of the campsite as well, like, you know, one of the heads. There's Ronnie, played by Paul Angelo. I don't know, I'm not sure if the D is silent, I don't know. And there's also Susie, played by Susan Glaze. And by the way, this is Susan Glaze's only movie that she ever did. She has never acted again ever since this. Okay. I gotta say, because I think the only, like, innocent and kind characters from the campsite would have to be Susie and Ronnie, because I can tell, and you can tell when you're watching this movie, they're the only two that are nice people, and, you know, they are always trying to keep things straight. For the others, like, the other, like, teenagers, and especially the adults, like, you know, from, say, Mel, they're just a bunch of jerks, you know? There's also the chefs. The chefs being played by... Okay, so there's Artie, played by Owen Hughes, and Ben, played by Robert Earl Jones. And by the way, I actually looked this up, and I saw... And by the way, I just discovered, and yeah, I did not know until now, that Robert Earl Jones is the father of James Earl Jones. Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, Robert Earl Jones, he plays Ben. I think, yeah, Ben seemed like an innocent character as well in this. I mean, there wasn't that much for Ben in this movie. Golly, especially for Robert Earl Jones, the father of James Earl Jones? Like, seriously? Oh, well, I mean, it's just how the movie turned out, and with some characters, you know. I gotta say, because, like, the other chef, Artie, because he was a creep. Like, you know, when, like, the teens, you know, at the campground, like, they're having, like, lunch and such, and, you know, Angela has not eaten anything off her plate, and, they recommend, like, some of the other, like, heads of the campground, like, recommended that she probably should go in the kitchen and, like, ask for what she would want specifically, and Artie took her back into, like, I guess the freezer section, I want to say, and golly, what a creep, because he was about to take his pants off, and then Ricky comes in, and oh my gosh, and yeah, he deserved what was coming to him next, because yeah, Artie was the first one to be killed, and I gotta say, the killings in this film, very gruesome for sure. I mean, the visuals, and even though, like, some of them are, like, I want to say, like, yeah, fake dummies of the actors, just still creepy, you know? Like, Artie, he's the only one that actually does not get killed, because, I mean, we don't know who it is yet, like, who's doing the killing and such. I mean, we only see, like, hands, and, like, Artie is, like, on top of a chair, and, like, there's a hot boiling pot of hot water, and whoever it is, like, you know, pulls the chair and causes him to, you know, fall and, you know, pull the boiling giant pot of water, and just, like, basically just burning him, and just, oh my gosh. And again, he survives, and he's sent off to the hospital. He's the only one in this movie that does not get killed. But as for the others, yeah, they get axed. So, yeah. And as for some of the other characters, like, you know, there are two, you know, bratty girls. One named Judy, played by Karen Fields, and Meg, played by Catherine Kami, if I'm saying her last name right. Kind of, like, gross, because, like, Meg and Mel are hitting on each other, and the fact that Mel is an old dude, like, oh my gosh, you know? And yeah, so, like, from Judy and Meg, they're basically just giving Angela a hard time. In fact, I mean, everybody on the campground is giving, like, Angela a hard time and just picking on her and such, and the fact that she's always quiet, and, you know, Ricky would have her back, and another kid who actually finds Angela attractive, named Paul, played by Christopher Collett. Yeah, I think I got the last name right. So he finds Angela attractive, and I think, yeah, Angela starts to find him attractive as the film proceeds. And in fact, Paul was the one that finally got Angela to talk. And yeah, because Angela getting to talk sometimes, and, you know, she's still quiet at times, and not even, like, saying anything to those who just come at her and just kind of give her a hard time, you know. Yeah, and the rest of the kills, like, you know, definitely it's those who, of course, are the jerks, like, you know, from Judy and Meg and a bunch of other, like, you know, boys, and, you know, one boy, because, like, he got killed, like, when he was out at night on a boat, and, like, the killer drowns him, and oh my gosh, because when a lifeguard sees him, and, like, a water snake, because oh my gosh, I'm just gonna leave it right there. And yeah, and moments between Angela and Paul, you know, they're, you know, cute and such, you know, and even, like, say, like, even later on, like, Mel starts to suspect that Ricky is doing the murders, like, because, of course, he's just going crazy, and, like, with these kills happening, he suspects, and he you know, he's framing Ricky for doing this, but Ricky, of course, wouldn't be doing any of this, and, you know, because Mel thinks that Ricky is doing the stuff for a good reason. Of course, that's false, you know. And so, also, yeah, because another moment where, like, another teen boy that gets killed in a bathroom, like, you know, the killer locks up the bathroom stalls, you know, I guess with, like, a broomstick or whatever, and he can't get out, and then basically, you know, like, breaks off the window, like, cuts the window off, and, you know, basically drops a beehive, and yeah, he gets killed by bees. Jeez. Also, there are moments with Judy where she is not happy that Paul is interacting and, talking with Angela. And, well, and since when did Judy like Paul anyways? And Paul doesn't like Judy. And there's one moment, like, one evening where, like, Paul and Angela, they're just, you know, lovingly playing with each other, and, like, you know, then, like, Paul and Angela, they start making out, and he's trying to, like, you know, take off her shirt, and then Angela starts to have flashbacks where, her and her sibling, like, you know, was watching their two dads, yeah, because they had, you know, she had two dads, and, like, then, like, there's a moment where, like, I don't know, her sibling is, like, poking at her or something like that, I don't know, and then, like, she has those flashbacks, and she just can't do it, and she runs away. And there's a moment where Judy is making out with Paul, and, you know, of course, later on, Paul, you know, apologizes and asks Angela, you know, to forgive him because he didn't mean this, and, you know, of course, he hates Judy. I think, yeah, I guess there was a reason why Paul and Judy were making out. I don't know, because of, well, what happened when Angela ran away, you know, and as the movie establishes. So, yeah. And, golly, and there's even a moment where Judy and Mel, because they're giving Angela a really hard time and forcing her to go swim. In fact, one of them, you know, I think it's Mel, like, you know, picks her up and just, you know, taking her to swim. And, you know, when Ricky is, you know, wanting to, you know, to help Angela, like, Mel just holds him back. Like, dude, you know, let him go help out his cousin, seriously. And even Ronnie stepping in to, you know, set Mel straight. And, of course, yeah, Meg throwing Angela into the lake/river. And, yeah, just, again, poor Angela, just how much pressure was put on her and those who were picking at her. And, you know, I don't know, because I mean, I know, like, even before seeing this movie, I knew who the killer was, and if anybody some who would watch Sleepaway Camp for the first time, would they know, like, maybe it could be this person? Like, you get my point. I'm curious, and if any of you guys felt that same way too. But, I mean, I don't know, like, say with Angela, but until I get to that. Okay, and so one evening, because Mel and Meg were gonna have dinner together, and at one point Meg took a shower, and we see the killer come in and basically stabs Meg through the shower curtains, like literally behind her back, and thus Meg is killed. I mean, she technically deserved it because how horrible she was. And even Judy got what was coming at her, because at one point, she was making out with a boy, and at one point, Mel came in asking Judy where Meg was, and the boy was hiding under her bed, and the boy had to leave because, in case he would be caught. And golly, Judy, cut the boy a break, because, like, you never know, because, like, if you guys would be caught, But, teenagers back then in the 80s, And so what happens with Judy, because the killer coming in, and we actually see a glimpse of the killer, like, we do, like, see the face, but I don't know, like, could we tell who it is, And I couldn't even tell what was happening to Judy, because, like, the killer, like, knocked her out and then put a pillow on her face, and was it scissors, I guess? And, like, what the heck was the killer doing? Obviously something gruesome, and the fact that we could see the shadows on the wall, like, obviously Judy's hands, and, jeez. When there was even a moment where I think it was with Judy and Susie, because Susie was, confronting Judy, and, of course, Susie was tired of Judy just, pardon my French, being a bitch, and one moment where Susie slapped her in the face, and, Susie felt bad about it, but no, because actually Judy did deserve it. Like, you need to set those teens straight, those who are being horrible and so on. Like, seriously, like, set them straight. You get my point. So yeah, as I said, Judy, she got what was coming to her, and, again, she technically deserved it. And at one point, Mel does discover Meg's body, and again, he still suspects that it's Ricky, even though it's not. And Mel will stop at nothing to get Ricky, and thus at one point, yeah, Ricky is, caught by Mel, and just literally Mel just beating the crap out of Ricky. Liar, 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 because he won't listen to Ricky, because of course Ricky's telling Mel that he did nothing. And then there's a moment where, a bunch of kids are going camping with an adult, and the killer, later on, the killer steps in and kills the kids. Like, they did nothing, and they didn't deserve to be killed. What did they do? Like, well, I mean, the killer decided to kill the kids for no reason. Just kill them. That's all. Even the adult that was with the kids, like, he of course saw their bodies, and there's at one point where he vomited. And of course, Susie and Ronnie, they start to suspect that something really bad is going on, and the killer is at loose and is present at the campsite, and there's a lot of people getting killed tonight. And of course, yeah, Mel, he got what he deserved, because of course the killer kills Mel too by throwing an arrow at his neck. Jeez. And like right before he got the arrow in his neck, he's, he sees who the killer is, and he says, it can't be you. It's impossible. And yeah, he got what was coming to him. And at one point, a little bit earlier that evening, because Angela, asked Paul to meet with her at the lake. I guess, it was her way of forgiving him, I guess. And, when he was waiting for her to be at the lake, well, she does show up, and she tells Paul that, that they should take off their clothes, so they could go swimming. And, of course, Paul likes this, like, oh, right, just to get naked. And, Ricky is found, you know, he's all bloodied up and so on, but he's all right. Just all bloodied up and injured from Mel, of course, after beating the crap out of him. And later on, that's when Ronnie and Susie discover where Angela and Paul, are, because, they're at the lake and, Angela is stroking Paul's hair and Paul is laying on her lap and Angela is humming creepy humming. And then we cut to a flashback. We once again get the appearance of Aunt Martha, and we see a young Angela, and yeah, this was when Angela came in to live with her aunt, and basically, Aunt Martha goes on saying, about when her husband left her, and she has a son, and she would refer to, have Angela as a daughter, and apparently Angela's original name was Peter, and Peter was a boy. And of course, that's when, the infamous, face that Angela has, and making those creepy sounds and, she had already killed Paul by decapitating him. And we see Angela's penis. And yes, the controversial ending that, Angela is a boy. Yeah, and Ronnie and Susie, they're of course shocked and they can't believe what they're seeing, and, all that Ronnie could say is, how can it be? God, she's a boy. And, we get one more shot of, the scary face of Angela, and then the stilled shot, turns to green, and then, boom, the credits roll. That's how the movie ends. Wow, you ended off there. And of course, we have the sequels and, the films that are connected to Sleepaway Camp, but yeah, and as I explained. Yeah, but again, that was a heck of a way to end the movie right there, because again, what happens next? Does Angela, get arrested? Never explained, but I assume that, the sequels, they explain what happens, But yeah, the controversial ending right there, and again, as I said, for anybody who would watch Sleepaway Camp for the first time, and clearly they would just be surprised at that ending, for sure. Sleepaway Camp, I gotta say, is an interesting Halloweenish film, / horror film, slasher film, you name it. And I think, it's grown a cult following, and, there are those that really enjoy Sleepaway Camp. And again, that controversial ending is something. I think definitely, the controversial ending is a moment in, film history, I want to say. You get my point, yeah. And how do I rate Sleepaway Camp? Good question. It's on my mind. I'll give it, 7 out of 10 stars. 7 out of 10 stars for Sleepaway Camp. Again, what an interesting Halloweenish / horror film this is. I didn't think it was that bad. And what about you guys? What did you think of Sleepaway Camp? Any of you who had watched it the first time, and obviously you were surprised at the controversial ending, clearly. And what did you think of my review? Leave comments, and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Sleepaway Camp. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And of course, continuing on reviewing Halloweenish films on the weekdays. And stay tuned later tonight, because the next Halloweenish film I'm going to be reviewing, well, to best describe it, this family is creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky. You know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned for that. And happy anniversary to Sleepaway Camp. Take care, and peace out.